Hi guys, welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbé, here live on YouTube, and we're broadcasting to you through Be Live as well as on our Trinity Mystical Energy channel. So welcome. Really exciting to have you guys here. Hi, Ellen. Glad to have you here already. Nice to have a familiar face, beautiful face in the house. It's great to see you. And Rob says, greetings from YouTube land. Tonight's show is a tribute to the music of Igor Stravinsky. Oh, that's an interesting, interesting choice, Rob. So yes, hi. Tonight's show is all about creating your heart's desire. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Julie. Glad to have you guys as well in the house. So creating your heart's desire is a phrase that, people have like, oh, this is what I truly want, I truly desire. And it's this longing and this yearning to express ourselves or have something appear to us in our life that is something we've been striving for. And the reason my spiritual team, chose creating your heart's desire is, there's a wonderful book by Sonia Choquette that's called that, Creating with Your Heart's Desire. And it's a fantastic read if you haven't read it. I probably should have prepped Rob that that was coming. Sorry, Rob, but here we are. But part of it is like, what's inside of you that's like ready to burst out. We've had this huge hibernation this last year where we were all kind of stuck in place. And in that place, we might have got to thinking and to dreaming or to freaking out and, panicking. But a lot of people felt this stuck energy. And some people are still experiencing that stuck energy. And from that place, it's like, what's next? And sometimes just that is enough to spur momentum, to spur your creative juices. And, many people have heard of the law of attraction, and you understand that like what you think about is what comes to you, or how you're feeling is what comes to you. But when we're really striving to go deeper and become the magician in our life's creation, then it's really important for us to be in tune with what our heart wants, what our soul really wants to experience. Because we are here on a soul's journey. We're on the hero's journey. And as part of that, it's like, what do we want to experience? Now, the one thing is that it's not necessarily about doing. It just might be a state of being. It might be that what we want more than anything is just peace and quiet, or maybe we want more than anything to have more time in nature. And maybe it doesn't have to be about doing. It's just a sensation in our being. But it's something that we don't experience often enough, and we miss it when it's gone. And that might be what your heart is yearning for. So I see that. Nice. Thanks. Thanks, Rob. Your heart's desire instructions. Yep. Creating and she basically has you create a manifestation box. And as you create that box, you put your intention and your focus in there, which we'll talk a little bit about. Oh, hi, Sylvia. Nice to have you here. Welcome to the house. Glad you're available this evening. So one of the things that was really unveiling itself in the past few weeks with my clients and with some of my students is that sensation of there's got to be something more, or I know I'm meant to do something else or be something else. And it's that itching and that yearning that happens deep inside our soul that just really keeps knocking at the door. Like, hello, I want to be seen. I want to be heard. So, as we're talking about it, as we're thinking and feeling our way in, what might your soul be yearning to experience? And it doesn't have to be anything, major, like, it could be, just something minor. The thing that came to me earlier was that, it could be as easy as, oh, we flashed for a minute there. I hope we're still here. So basically, it could be something as simple as wanting to make a, perfect cherry pie. My grandmother made fantastic cherry pies. And I really haven't even experienced one since, because it was one of those things that there was so much magic in the creation. There was so much thought and intention, and it just tasted different. And I'm sure we've all had things like that family members cook and they love to cook, and it actually tastes different, and they might share the recipe with you, but when you go to cook it, it might not be the same. And some of that for me is the alchemy of the creation. It's if our soul is yearning to express ourselves this way, it's just got that extra layer of magic. And it could be, painting like Ellen, Ellen, I'm sure, my beautiful painter, and the gardens. Maybe it's that you want this, this part of your yard to bloom all at the same time in these different shades, and you can see what you want to create, but it's the timing and the love and attention that can actually bring it out. And sometimes our vision is bigger. I have more than one book that is ready for the writing, and I have parts of books down. I probably have 50 or 100 pages of this, and 50 or 100 pages of that, and maybe 20 pages of this. But when I get deep in my soul and it's like, okay, what am I yearning to experience? The book hasn't been my major draw, it's more like I have to get it done. So when you're in that space of having to get something done, we all know that there's not as much magic and love and attention in it. So when I'm in that energy, I step away from my creation. And because that's not the energy that I want to birth that in, if that makes sense. So part of it is really, when we're looking to create something or bring something into our lives, if we're really asking and wanting and yearning for it, then we can start to use our own inner magic. And that's when the creative energy starts flowing. You start thinking about different ways to do things. You start imagining what it would feel like, what it would smell like and taste like, to experience what your soul is yearning. The one thing that we do quite often is that we let our logic brain talk us out of it. I know mine is really good at that. I don't know about you guys, but mine is really super good at that. And it'll be like, oh, that's going to take a lot of time, or do you really want to spend all your time doing that? Or I can create 100 excuses when my logic brain is thinking about it. But recognizing whether, when that logic brain starts to come in with rational thought, do you start to deflate? And if you're starting to deflate, then you are you're collapsing the bubble of creation, basically. So what that means for me is that put it away, and get the logic brain out of there, and find things that inspire you. Because inspiration is when we allow spirit in. And when we allow spirit in, it's usually when we're not thinking. So for me, inspiration comes when I'm driving, because I'm on automatic pilot. It comes when I'm listening to music. It comes when I'm outside in nature or by the water, really a lot by the water. It comes to me when someone has a fantastic idea. Because sometimes it's like one person gets a spark of inspiration and then it creates this whole chain reaction. So I love when I have something that is itching to be created. I love gathering people together and bouncing ideas off each other, because then the creative juices flow for everyone, and all of our energy can come together and co-create, even if we're working on separate things. Think about it as, creation mastermind. But these aren't the people that you would call who are going to be logic brain and talk you out of it. These are the people who love to dream and think and imagine. I am in the middle of recreating how my school is functioning. So before it was in person, and COVID made it pretty clear that that wasn't a viable solution or a sustainable solution. My spiritual team had been telling me I needed to get online. And boy, I was in a lot of resistance to that, because I really love connecting with people and seeing their faces, and hugging. I miss hugging. So that was a key component for me, and to be fully present with someone when they're in their transformative process. But I was able to envision that much of the content, lecture kind of content, that could be done online. It didn't have to be in person. So I was able this year to move half of the school online and half of the school in person, so that we really only had to get together 3 weekends a year, which is doable for most people. That's a way to really move forward. But in that process, I noticed the energy of, okay, with one class, this is what it looks like. Next year we'll have 2 classes going at the same time. How does that work? And how do I stay in the joy and the love of it, and not get into the logic thinky brain? And so that's what my soul is yearning to create, that space and those systems for that. And the side effect is the books have to come because of it. But now it's connected to my heart's desire. So it's making space for, this is what the plan is, and here are all the things we're going to need to have this plan happen. And when that plan happens, it'll be my soul's creation, but it also will feed the souls of many other people, and it will start them on their journey of their soul's creation. Kind of like this show can be that for you if you want it to be. It can be your check-in place of, where am I now this week, and how can I support myself in moving forward? So when you're creating your heart's desire, for me, that's beyond manifestation. It's not me necessarily manifesting the money to pay my electric bill, say. And because for me, that doesn't take a whole lot of energy. I can just Place in my account the amount of money I need to pay my electric bill. Thank you. It's done. It's created. It is there. It will be there if it wasn't there when I started talking. And for me, those things are things are easy. Not for everybody. There's often you can call in something small, but it's the bigger things that we've been programmed not to ask for. When we were growing up, there were certain things you were allowed to ask for and certain things you weren't. But maybe you were on, say, a birthday list or a Christmas list. But even then, you were making a list to receive maybe one thing or two things, not your whole list. And, learning that we don't always get what we want, that was part of our growing up lesson. But as an adult and as a magician and as the creator of our own lives, we can get whatever we want. It's just a matter of intention, attention, and focus. So the intention is, this is what I am creating. Not that I want to create or I'm trying to create, because both of those push the creation away from you. This is what I'm creating. Okay. So first, the intention is, this is what I'm creating, or this is what my soul is yearning to create. I love Ellen. Couldn't I ask for a pony? And then Rob's like, you want a full-grown horse? And Ellen is like, but I have them now. She does. She has horses. You couldn't ask for a pony, right? A lot of people, a lot of kids, right? They wanted a horse or a pony. And you weren't allowed to ask for that. That was too much. And so we learned to squelch, or we created this bar of what we could or could not ask for. And for me, it was very difficult because there were times where you were just asking for a particular kind of food and we weren't allowed to have that. Not like a sweet or a treat, and when that happens, then that's something now that it's like, it's not a big deal to ask for this brand of cereal. But it might have been at some point. And so your brain may not understand that it's okay to ask for that, or it's okay to go to a restaurant and, ask for what you want. Like, I want this on the side and I want this here. And I want my salad with dinner, not before dinner. Like, things that we don't even know we can ask for. So when your heart is yearning to paint, right? I guess we're talking for you. But right. Or if you asked and you lived in the city, as Rob said, right. Generally we're allowed to ask, but the receiving we couldn't have happen necessarily, and it was the logic brain that gave us the reason why. We were lots of times told the reason why. Well, you can't because we live in the city. You can't because we don't have a big enough yard, or can't because it's too expensive, or we can't because you wouldn't take care of it. Like, there were logical reasons for decisions and how they were made. But in the magic of creation, if you want to paint or create a piece of music, or for me, it was dance and choreography. It's like, or if you want to write a beautiful poem or a book, right? It's that the churning of creativity needs to start flowing. So when we're in that place where our soul is just crying out for something, we need to get our creative juices flowing so that there's some movement to our energy field. And so our soul feels like the possibilities are there. And sometimes it's our inner child who's the one who's cranky. They want something and they haven't been able to have it, and they're just really itching for it. I know a lot of people right now who are just yearning for a vacation, and a lot of people who are actually able to take them right now, are because that movement is starting to happen. But we had to go without and really learn to value the ability to take a vacation, right? If that is something that was important to you. But to go back to like the poetry or the paintings or the music or the dance, we need to be in connection. We need to have inspiration, spirit to come in and help us get the energy moving. So one of the first things that you can do when you are really in that place of ready to create is go and be around things that spark your creativity. Sometimes it's a walk through a museum. Sometimes it's listening to music, like I said, or going out in nature. It's what gets your juices flowing. What gets the ideas rolling in your head? Maybe it's going into the paint store and buying new brushes, or getting out your paints and just doing something for fun, not trying to create anything in particular. Picking up an instrument and just making sounds with it. It doesn't have to be anything. Taking the thinking out of the creating. There's a fabulous artist from the area that I used to live in Massachusetts. And her name is escaping me. Donna Estabrooks. Is that right, Ellen? She's from Florence. But her paintings are really, they're really fun and they're very spectacular. And she teaches a class on creativity, and one of the things that she has you do is you do a little bit on a canvas and then you pass it to somebody else, and then they see what's there and they do something else. Donna Estabrook, thank you. Thank you, Ellen. I knew you would know. And you put a little bit on and then you pass the canvas to somebody else and then they do it, or the piece of paper, whatever you're doing it on. And you receive from someone the beginning of their creation and you add to it something of yours. And then you pass it till every single person has had their creative juices on every piece of paper. And when you get the paper back that you started with, it's nothing like you were intending to create, because nobody saw inside your head. They all just saw what was in front of them and it sparked their creation. And the really cool thing about that was there was no right and there was no wrong. And that's the big thing, is that when we can get our logic brain out of our creativity, the magic and the alchemy can come in, because it's all about what the soul wants to birth. And it doesn't have to look anything like we thought. So many people knew that for years I've been trying to move to Maine. I wanted. But I kept saying, I'm moving to Maine. I'm moving to Maine. I'll be moving to Maine. And I could see it and I could feel it and I could smell it. And every time I went to visit Maine and came back, I was crying when I was leaving because I felt like my soul wanted me to be there so badly that I felt that I was leaving home, even though my home was still in Massachusetts. And it was this, there was more and more of me here. And so when things started to take hold where it was a possibility, it happened rapidly. Most people were like, whoa, how did that happen? But it was what my soul had been creating for a while. And as soon as there was space for me to go, yes, I'm going to create this, it was rapid. So one of the things that I'll invite you to do is to really tap in. When we do our meditation, we're going to talk to our soul and our higher self and our inner child too, because they're very much all interconnected with what we create and when we create it. But that logic brain can be like, this has to be done first. But you know, we can talk ourselves out. Like if you want to move to Maine, right? You could, you know, I looked at the prices of everything. I was like, oh, you know, that's not going to happen anytime soon, or we'll have to wait until we retire. Maybe then we can go. And it was all rational baloney. As soon as I was like, all right, I'm going, spiritual team, find me this is what I want. This is how much I want it for. And I didn't even think it never crossed my mind that it couldn't happen. And you can talk to a bunch of people who saw me around that time. It just didn't occur to me that it couldn't happen. And it happened instantly. Really, a lot of things happened so quickly. You'd be very surprised. And the stuff that went slower, it was because we needed time to settle, you know, like, okay, sit with this step for a few minutes and, you know, a month or two. And okay, now you're grounded. Now you have a good foundation and boom, there it goes. Rob is saying rational bologna is on sale this week for $1.39 a pound. Yeah. I gave up bologna a long time ago. I don't know about some of you, but when you are creating from your heart's desire, it is this really strong energy of intention and focus. And you are doing it with the right side of your brain. You are doing it in your creative motion. You are doing it with spirit. Yes, there are going to be logistics that need to be worked out, but the logistical part happens after the creation starts, because we are supreme at talking ourselves out of things. It's really hard to talk ourselves into things. And when we're doing something, we're creating something that's really near and dear to our heart, be mindful of who you talk to about your creation. I really do my best to only talk to people who are going to help spark my creativity. The people who might try to give me rationality, I often don't let them in on the process until it's a done deal. And it doesn't mean that I don't love them and value their opinions, but sometimes it's not helpful, right? So, you know, it's like you play it a little close to the heart, but it's one of those things that, you know, when somebody else can hold the intention with you, it adds energy to it. So it's like it's sending an electrical current through what you're intending. So sharing with others, it can add a layer of accountability. And there are times where you can talk it into being, basically. I'm hearing the old saying, fake it till you make it. But it's more like talk as if you are it, or talk as if you have it, rather than I will, or I want, or I need. I would say I'm moving to Maine. And even though moving is a action, it got me, rather than I want to move to Maine, I'm moving. So then it was only a question of when. And most of the time I wouldn't tap into that, because that can squelch the creation. Sometimes it's good to have a deadline for your creation. Sylvia knows I can be terrible with deadlines, especially on things that my rational brain really can turn things into work that aren't fun. And so when my brain turns, writing is my big thing. Those of you who know, I wrote for Star Nations magazine for a while, and I love doing it, and I love channeling the wisdom that would come through the ancient one and come out onto the paper. But I would create anything to keep me from writing until the very last second. And I know that's that procrastination piece, but there is also this chemistry piece, that alchemy piece of the everything flowing. And it never took very long to do the channeling or the writing. And that was one of those logical excuses my brain would create, oh, it's going to take so long. It never did. But it was finding that pocket of time with no distractions. So like when you want to create music or you want to create art, we come up with all these distractions. Oh, I got to do laundry. Oh, I've got to go grocery shopping. Oh, it's like, we'll create something to take up that space. We often don't safeguard our creative time. So for those of you who are looking to do that type of creating, like writing or painting, or even gardening, or sewing, something that has a tangible piece to it, earmark time to do that, because we're really good at filling in. Oh, I'll do it maybe Tuesday afternoon. When Tuesday rolls around, we throw all our errands into that time, and we haven't booked it like an appointment, and kept it solid and golden that nobody can touch it. When you do that, even if it's creative playtime, it doesn't have to be about creating anything in particular. Just that time is for creativity. It can help get the ball rolling. If you are birthing something big, a new job, a new life, a new home, the next chapter in your life, then you want your creativity honing in as many minutes of the day as possible. And that is filling your environment, your being, with as much energy that is creative as you can. And that's where, for me, like the colors and the music and the, when I'm writing, especially when I'm channel writing, I use colored pens, and I change the pens out and use different colors as different thoughts flow. So if it doesn't read, down the page like continuous writing, it's because it wasn't. It's like this came in for 15 minutes, and then for 2 minutes I just sat with it. And then this another flow of consciousness came in. When that happens, it's another pen, because it may not be interconnected, right? It could just be a brain dump of some really cool thoughts. I had this great thing happen with crystals. Your body having crystals in the ears, how it impacts your hearing and your balance. And then this realization that if it's crystalline, like what's it composed of? And then when I looked it up, it was the same element as that makes calcite. So, tapping into the properties of calcite, how would you bring balance into the crystals in the ears, and how you could program it, like you can program crystals to be your ally. And where other places there are crystals in the body, it was just this stream of consciousness, but it was all this awareness of aha. Here's another way that this could be approached. And it doesn't have to be used for anyone or anything. It got my creativity flowing when I tapped into it. So with that, we're going to do a meditation to really tap in and talk to our soul, talk to our higher self and our inner child, and see what they're yearning to express. So I'm inviting you to have paper or a pen, or if you're on your computer, like open like a place where you could type in what gets said. Julie says, I love the idea you use different pens when writing. Oh, yeah. Here are some. Here are some. They're like, I like the gel pens from Papermate. And I buy the biggest thing and I use them. And it also allows me to sometimes write, like I might write down something that that I see, I'm writing, like I was writing about the crystals in the ear and whatnot. And then all of a sudden some channeled information comes through. Then I grab a pen of a different color and I can even write next to it. And it'll let me know that it's like two people talking. Does that make sense? I do it when I journal too. I journal. I start when I'm journaling my own words, or processing my own thoughts or feelings. I will use one pen. And then if there's channeled messages from my team, then I will use a different pen. And the handwriting changes, so you can see that anyways. But the pen just lets the different colors, just for me, it just lets me know that they were separate thought flows, right? The energy stops somewhere in between one thought to another. They may be connected, but they didn't flow all in one thought. And that helps me, because sometimes when I see the colors change, I know I might need, like connective sentences to put it into one cohesive thought. I hope that makes sense. My poor editor is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she just said that. So anyways, we're going to do this meditation. And I invite you to have something that you can write down, because without thinking about it, allowing whatever they want to say to come in, and just writing it down, whatever comes through. And don't worry if nothing comes through right this moment, because often it will come through in your dream time. Sometimes we have to fully shut down the rational brain before it allows our soul, our child, or our higher self to fully speak. They'll speak when we're sleeping. So if you don't get very much information while we're doing the meditation live, I invite you to keep a pad or something by the side of your bed just in case, because often you'll have it come in right before you wake up. So there you have it. So try to get yourself comfortable. We had a lot of chatting. So we're going to get ourselves nice in a grounded place. So taking a couple of deep breaths and really feeling the experience of your physical body, your bones, your muscles. And just welcoming in the divine energy, however you connect to that. For me, I connect to the feminine, sometimes through Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, or goddesses. And then there is the masculine energy that you may connect through God or Buddha or Apollo, or just you have a sense of the sun and the moon, the earth and the sky. And feeling those two aspects of the divine as it interconnects in our heart, swirling together to create a balanced, harmonious you. And feeling the protection of the sacred space that we are working in. The healing temple of inspiration and creativity. That resides in each of us. And connecting to the wisdom of our higher self, our spiritual team, our angels, our guides, our ancestors, the animals, the mystical creatures, all divine of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to us in this moment. And remembering the intention that these sessions and healing and connection are for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. And also creating a safe and sacred space for our inner child to feel seen, heard, and filled with unconditional love. Releasing all the tension that we may be holding in parts of our body, our neck, our head, our shoulders, our arms, our hands, our back, our chest, our belly, our hips, our tailbone, our legs, our feet. And asking the divine energy to fill us with the energy of creation, restoring, repairing, renewing balance in our system, so we can lovingly connect to our creation energy in all its forms and aspects. And welcoming it into each and every dimension, vibration, and frequency that we connect to and through. Opening the channel of inner wisdom, inner knowing, so that inspiration can come straight through from spirit. Now we're going to connect to your higher self, that aspect that knows of your soul's journey, your mission, all the lifetimes and experiences you've had. And we're going to gently ask our higher self to please communicate what our soul is yearning to experience right now. And sending love and gratitude to the connection, leaving room for communication to continue to flow into our awareness from our higher self. And now asking our inner child what it yearns to experience. What it needs or it wants. Making room for it to be safe for the child to express itself. Surrounded in love and support. And now simply asking your spirit, your soul, yourself, your current being, or any aspect of you that we have not connected to or not made room to hear. What does your heart desire to express fully right now? Now asking the divine to put a bubble of creation, manifestation around the communications, the connections, opening up clarity, so things appear quickly and easily. Just remembering the sensations of connection, of inspiration, how it feels in your physical body, in your emotional body, how you sense it in your mental thoughts, and even how your spirit is experiencing it, so that you can connect it to your muscle memory, that you can call back this sensation whenever you need it for inspiration, for creativity, for awakening the life that you've been yearning to have, experience. And now gently bringing your awareness back to your heart center, the gratitude filled inside of it, the rib cage that surrounds it, the shoulders and arms that connect to it, your spine, your hips, your legs, the weight of you in your physical being, your neck and your head. And just gently begin to move your body wherever energy may feel tight or stuck, like your arms or your shoulders. Stretch, yawn, whatever feels connected. Yay. um, I always love how that stuff comes through. So I hope you got some information, inspiration, however you wanted to experience that. So one of the things that can help you connect to that or be part of that are, I'm a big fan of crystals and oils. They're our allies. They're tools. A plumber uses all of his tools, and sometimes we forget that there are tools. It's not a crutch. It's an ally. um, so for manifestation and creation energy, citrine is very popular. It has a lot of creativity juice to it, and it enjoys helping with creativity and the creative process. The other stone that's been coming up quite a lot is calcite. And it comes in different colors. And you'll be drawn to what you need. The green calcite really helps calm our emotions when we are, maybe if we're feeling overwhelmed or things like that. It helps quiet the discomfort. The blue calcite can really help with anything that is sort of blocking us from expressing through our throat chakra. And that's not just speech or singing, but it's dancing and writing and painting and anything that's creative. It's like you speak it into being. So it's helping clear the power of our word as we're creating. Um, I really like the peach calcite because it's got a lot of that juicy second chakra. And for me, it helps the ground the creativity into the present moment. So those are some crystals that can help you. And the essential oils that I use for that are the creativity blend, obviously. But there's also a manifestation blend and a manifestation point. And yes, though they all are a little bit different. The manifestation point is actually one of your soul's chakras. So it's actually connecting to the creative, the root of creativity within your higher self. So that one is for me when I'm calling in something that is um, bigger, maybe more of a stretch outside of my comfort zone. That's the one I use to help my higher self really stay connected with me in the creation. And all of those are available to you on my website at trinitymysticalenergy.com. You go to the healing boutique and you'll find crystals and oils and cards and all sorts of things there that can help boost that creativity. And the one of the things that I also wanted to mention tonight is that on Sunday at 10 a.m., Soul Connections will be back for July. That will be our July session. So at 10 a.m. on Sunday, we will be doing a healing and clearing meditation. And then afterwards, I'll be pulling cards for people, readings for what their month's energy is going to look like. I'm so, yay, Soul Connections. Yeah, I'm very excited. I miss doing soul connections, the deep meditations, the channeled messages for people. Just when we got to COVID, it was a little overwhelming. The amount of people who wanted to connect and be part of that. So I needed to really find a way to do it that was healthy for me. So yay, we're going to do it once a month. Rob's going to be my co-pilot. So for July, it's this Sunday. And then in August, it'll be August 15th. That's when we will be doing that. So that will at least be coming to you once a month. And for those of you who've ever gone to my full moon meditations at my healing space, that will be coming up online live now. I'll start doing those once a month. And those classes will be available through Zoom. So look for those as well. And if you haven't liked our channel yet, Trinity Mystical Energy on YouTube, please subscribe. It's the same as liking something on Facebook, and like our page, Trinity Mystical Energy, because that's where you'll find all things chakra. And yeah, that's where we'll be. So glad to see you guys tonight, have you in the house. Thank you for joining me and helping me on my spiritual mission to heal the healers. We need you. Mwah. Bye, guys. Shine your light.